Well, greetings and salutations, one and all, to another fun-filled episode of the Super Review Show's Mixed Bag, coming to you live once again from the J Cave. I am joined by my two incredible friends, not Kyle and Mike, sorry, but that's next week. Justin and Bill, what's going on, guys?
Hey, bud, what's up?
How's it going? Good to see you guys back here once again for another episode of Mixed Bag. Everything's going good so far. We're having a good October so far, right?
Everything's going well as we begin spooky season.
Yes.
I got sick for the first part of it, but I was hoping the rest of it is okay.
Yeah. Well,
Justin, were you at least watching like horror movies while you were sick?
Do weird fever dreams count?
Yes.
Sure, let's count that. Yeah, cool.
And yes, very much so.
So, we're going to give you a crayon and you're going to just draw everything you dreamed of.
Exactly.
So we can see it.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Anyways, but Bill, speaking of horror movies, what's tonight's topic?
well, first we want to address Allie unfortunately got busy with schoolwork. She might pop in later. So for now, it's gentlemen's night.
Oh Lord.
It's not ladies' night, it's gentlemen's night tonight.
It's gentlemen's night and the feel it. Okay, that does not have the same ring to it.
It does not have the same ring. It's okay.
Cool in the gang, please don't sue me.
Yes. But yeah.
But if you want to call the complaint, call 1-800.
Got Bill.
Bill. But tonight, as we continue mixed bag of horrors. Ooh, spooky. Yeah. We are going to be doing I don't want to say debate, more of a discussion.
Yeah.
Of what was the best decades for horror movies.
And this could just be a very interesting discussion that we're going to have tonight. What decade did you guys want to start in?
Should we go like way back or should we go like maybe like 50s, 60s? What do you fine gentlemen think?
Dr. Professor Justin.
Here's the thing. There are films that we can talk about as way back as, say, well, yes, Nosferatu is probably the earliest example, but
yeah.
I would say the 30s pre-Hays Code was the heyday for some really freaky horror.
Before we go on, Justin, would you mind explaining to the good people what the Hays Code is?
Why, certainly. So,
you're putting the professor hat on, aren't you?
Put it on, baby.
I started out without the glasses so I could do this. The Hays Code was the way that the studios self-censored their movies. It was a self-governing body that made sure that all movies were made for general audiences. Meaning no gore, no sex, no profanity, which includes goddamn. No portraying religion as bad. In fact, they try to steer away from portraying religion at all. That way they don't offend anybody. Good guys had to prosper, bad guys had to be punished. All that.
And an interesting example. I'm sorry to cut you off, Justin, but a interesting example of the Hays Code is have you ever heard of the movie Double Indemnity?
Yes.
And it was based off a book because originally in the book, the two main characters ended up killing each other.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the Hays Code, they had to change the ending of the movie.
Oh.
So I didn't know if you knew that or not.
I did not know it was because of the Hays Code. No.
Yeah, but they did have to change the ending. So anyway, I'm sorry. Continue.
But there was a time before the Hays Code where they got away with some interesting stuff, including the movie from, I think it was 1933, Freaks. That's it. This was the story about a woman who marries a excuse me. It's about a woman who marries a little person who back then was referred to as a midget. Who was also a circus freak. And she did this for money because apparently he was very rich. And when they found out, they took very violent revenge, which included, I think, tar and feathering the woman. This movie was apparently so graphic that a woman actually complained that she miscarried because of the movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I think that, and because of that, they actually cut out an hour from the movie, and that hour has actually been forever lost.
Oh no.
Yep, because back then, storage of film was very dangerous because film is very flammable.
Hmm.
So yeah, an hour of this movie is lost to the sands of time. And this is one of the movies that prompted the creation of the Hays Code. Otherwise, the government was going to step in.
Really?
Mm.
So this was the movie that kind of like changed it all in a sense.
You will find that there are a lot of parallels in media, comic books, film, video games. They all have a catalyst where the accessibility of the medium changes forever. For film, it was the Hays Code. For comic books, it was the Comics Code Authority. For video games, it was the AESRB. Well, ESRB is more comparable to the MPAA. It's more of a rating system than anything else.
Gotcha. All right. So is that it for the 30s, or we got more stuff for it?
Of course not. We have Dracula. We have the Wolf. We have Frankenstein. We have the Invisible Man.
I forgot about those. Sorry about that.
I think those all came out. Dracula's 32. Bela Lugosi, who played Dracula on Broadway before.
Children of the night. What the music they made.
Which, not in the book.
I know. We read the book in high school.
I know we did. That's why I had to say it.
I know you know it. I'm just telling the good people.
So, we have Dracula, Bela Lugosi, which decided to take a more romanticized approach to the Count, as opposed to what Nosferatu did back in 1928.
Nosferatu.
Yes, anyone who grew up in our generation knows Nosferatu mostly because of SpongeBob.
Yes, we do.
Or Justin, remember from what was it, Dracula Dead and Loving It? She's alive. She's dead. No, she's alive. She's Nosferatu. She's
Italian?
Italian.
Exactly.
The Mel Brooks movie Dracula Dead and Loving It.
That's a great movie too. If you guys have not seen Dracula Dead and Loving It, get on it. It's a really funny movie.
She's Nosferatu. She's Italian.
But
anyway,
I'm gonna be honest. I do think it's Dracula. I do think it's Mel Brooks's weakest parody, but compared to most satires nowadays, yeah, it's pretty good.
I shall move the coffin or the chandelier. Okay, but anyway, going back to Bela Lugosi.
No, that's mostly what I had to say about Dracula. Then you had Frankenstein with Boris Karloff.
Oh, I wanted to say something about Dracula, if that's okay.
Good.
Oh, go ahead.
My grandmother, God rest her soul, she I remember her telling me, because she grew up in like the 30s, and she told me when she saw Dracula in theaters, when we went, "Look into my eyes," she goes, it was like literally the scariest thing. They just zoomed in right on his eyes. So, Justin, since I've seen clips of Bela Lugosi's, but how close is it to Bram Stoker's book?
Not very close.
So they basically just took the book, didn't read it, and just threw it away.
No, they did parts. They did a lot of the book, but they made Renfield the one to visit Dracula in the beginning. They completely do away with Quincy Morris.
I remember what the high school English teacher said he was his favorite character.
Yeah, he was great in the book, but they always seem to butcher him or just not do him at all in the movies, and this was the start of that. Honestly, the one that does it closest really is probably Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah, not a lot of people like that one, I think, right?
No, people like it. They just don't like Keanu Reeves in it. I mean, granted, that's a pretty big part of the movie, but
how can you not like Keanu Reeves?
Did you hear his English accent?
Okay, it's bad, but Keanu in real life, he's awesome.
Keanu is pretty cool.
Boston sleeps.
He has overthrown Tom Hanks. But anyway.
Yeah, and it's like Tom Hanks's Tom Parker.
Rest in peace, Bob. We miss you. Yeah, but yeah, but like I said before, we move on to Frankenstein. With the look into my eyes, could you see why it was scary back then, Justin, or meh?
I guess people had different standards for scary back then. Like, if you were to show someone back then, say, The Exorcist, I think they would have a literal heart attack.
And I'm sure we'll be talking about that, won't we?
I mean, we have to.
Yeah, okay. Well,
we
that's
to,
40 years away, so we got
time. We're gonna go for 3 hours tonight. I'm calling it. I'm just kidding.
So let's move on
To Frankenstein?
Yep.
So, Frankenstein was the next franchise in the Universal horror movies, starring Boris Karloff as the creature. And well, it popularized. It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
That's where this came from. That's good.
It's this one because I don't know if the book had him yell, "It's alive!" I mean, he might have said it, but I don't think it was a yell or a scream or anything like that.
Yeah, I remember reading some of the book by Mary Shelley.
Yep.
Ooh. I remember I watched it when I was it was on TV. I must say I was like maybe I was like 4.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad goes, "No, it's not scary. It's funny. It's funny." But then when I showed the, I was terrified.
You know what? I was the same way when my dad tried showing me Young Frankenstein for the first time. And I didn't realize, oh, this is comedy. Because it was black and white. It still had a little bit of that feel to it of the original, kind of the intent. But yeah, this one I can get a little more than say Dracula because this is an actual creature. Like, you put yourself into the shoes of the victims, and yeah, you can kind of see how this can be scary.
100%.
And that's really the only way you can see how this is scary is the idea of putting yourselves in the shoes of the victims. Which, to a lot of modern audiences, is not enough anymore.
Really?
Oh, so
I guess you need something a little more cerebral to really get at people's ear that or a shit ton of jump scares.
Jump scare.
yeah. Okay. No, I wasn't. I'm just making conversation with you. That's all.
Yeah, you do not like jump scares, do you?
I hate jump scares. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them.
Not a fan of them whatsoever. I will say that. So
anyway,
but Frankenstein 1931. Anything else you wanted to go off on at all or no?
I mean, this one I really didn't see.
Okay.
I just know of it more.
Okay.
So if a monster comes into our town, should we get the pitchforks and torches ready?
Yes.
And we'll chase it out old school.
We're gonna say kill the monster. We're gonna do it, I promise.
Yeah, but what do you think made these 30s horror movies like so iconic though?
Maybe the choice of the monster?
I think it was just coming out at the right time.
Probably that too.
Because it was pretty novel that these horror movies were coming out. Movies in general were all talkies in general were still seen as a very new thing. 1928 is when the first talkie was released.
Was it 27? Was it 28 or 27?
I think it was 28.
The Jazz Singer.
Jazz Singer.
Okay.
So 1931, that's only 3 years later. for those who've seen movies such as Singing in the Rain or even Babylon, which Bill and I saw, the transition into sound was not all that seamless. It was a lot of trial and error.
Because a lot of Justin, see how I deal with this, okay? Are you ready to grade me, Professor?
All right, Mr. Murphy, let's see what you got.
Because when there was a transition from silent to talkies, it was a big challenge because one, they had to know how to they had to work new equipment to get the sound.
Yep.
And two, a lot of silent film actors were having a hard time adjusting because one, they now had to memorize lines.
Yep.
In which when they did silent films, they didn't have to. And a lot of them didn't have the proper vocal training.
Yep.
To be in talkies. And that was why at that point, a lot of theater actors at the time were transitioning to film.
Mm-hmm.
Because they already knew how to memorize lines, they had the proper vocal training, and that's why the transition from silence to talkies was a big challenge. So how'd I do, Professor?
I give you an A-.
Okay, what's the minus part?
Some people just didn't have the right sound for talkies. Like their voices were just harsh for it.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't a lot of actors who were like that, but there were some.
Yeah.
So you think it was the choice of the monsters that made it?
I think the fact that these were some of the first talkie horror movies probably played a huge part in it. Freaks in particular was pre-code. It took full advantage of that, and is also still considered a cult classic to this day. 1940s, not as popular. Well, there were some popular ones like The Wolfman. I don't know if Bride of Frankenstein came out at that time.
Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom of the Opera was Lon Chaney. That was the 20s.
No, I mean the 1943 one.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, and this was before Andrew Lloyd Webber got a hold of it.
Yes.
Hold on.
Before it became a musical, it was actually a horror movie.
Well, because the story was in the public domain.
Yes.
It was based on a book. La Fatum. Hey, look who's here.
Yep. Allie will be joining us in 1 second. Just bear with us, everyone. Let's finish up our thoughts, though, really quick on what we were talking about. Of course.
So, yeah, besides Wolfman, Phantom of the Opera, there's not much in the 40s. 50s is when horror movies start getting interesting again.
I
agree with that 100%.
Because now you start getting, you start getting sci-fi horror movies like The Fly, or Outer Space, The Blob. You also get haunting movies such as The Haunting of on Hill House, House on Haunted Hill, And you also get the low budget B movies, like the Roger Corman ones.
Okay.
Like I Was a Teenage Werewolf.
Yeah.
You know,
So
the ones
glad.
that you would kind of expect to read in the pulp magazine.
Gotcha. So glad you could join us. How are you?
I'm fine. You also forgot some of the other movies from Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh, we're not there yet.
We're not there yet.
Some of them.
Okay.
We're only in the 50s so far, but I'm not exactly including thrillers in this yet. I wouldn't put North by Northwest on this in this discussion.
Okay.
Hmm.
Because that was the 40s, right? North by Northwest.
It's
Mhm.
52, 3, I forget.
Okay,
Let's see.
so early 50s. But Allie, you are right.
59.
50s was prime time for Hitchcock's horror movies, such as The Birds.
The Birds was 1963.
Damn it.
Psycho was
I have it up
1960.
here.
Psycho was
You
You
1960.
forgot Dial M for Murder, Strangers on the Train, Vertigo, The Wrong Man, The Man Who Knew Too Much.
The bunch.
I think this episode has made it clear I'm not the leading expert here on Alfred Hitchcock.
Hmm.
I just looked up
Okay.
Wikipedia.
Oh.
Sean!
Information. Gotta
Oh, you
love it.
guys already talked about Nosferatu?
We did. We touched on him. Yeah.
We touched on it. 19
Nosferatu.
Oh, yes.
We also have some Ed Wood movies coming out this decade.
Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Plan 9 from Outer Space. One of the worst movies ever made. And people
Yikes.
for it. Also featuring Bela Lugosi.
Hmm. I think this was the last film he was in. Before he died. I think this was the last one.
Wow.
And Plan 9 from Outer Space. I didn't see Plans 1 through 8, though.
Can
Well,
we talk about the Blob for a second?
obviously weren't worth telling.
But
Plan 9, though. That's like Plan Z.
Yeah.
ooh, Plan Z.
The
But
50s had a lot of weird sci-fi horror movies too. I have the Blob pulled up right here from that's like 58, because like once you get to like the late 50s, it gets even weirder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because that by the late 50s, the Hays Code started to relax a little bit. They started losing power a bit.
I didn't ask you this with the Hayes Code, Justin. Who was Hayes?
I don't know the answer to that.
Must have been a pretty important fellow.
Rutherford, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe.
But yeah, there were some crazy sci-fi horror movies in the 50s. The Blob, The Fly, Thing from Outer Space. What else was there? Look up Roger Corman. So Roger Corman in the 50s and 60s made a lot of B horror movies. The Undead, 1957. Attack of the Crab Monsters. The Giant Leeches.
Wait, the giant leeches or the killer leeches?
Attack of the Giant Leeches.
The Fast and Furious.
Wait, aren't the Attack of the Giant Leeches, aren't they just people in trash bags?
Yep.
Wow.
These were B movies. Low budget. Made by hungry filmmakers. Batteries not included.
There you go.
Well, like, we got to think of something that's just put them in trash bags. But that's stupid. It looks cool. No, it doesn't. We don't. Well, do you have anything better? We don't have the money for something better. So trash bags.
I guess these are just movies that they wanted to just put out, even though they were like terribly made or whatever. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
They were cheap. They were cheap to make, and therefore they could turn a profit.
Can I chime in for a sec? Is it all this talk of like creatures and whatnot just reminded me of something? And I mean, just to give Chris a quick backstory, really quick. The reason why I've been out of mixed bag for a couple of the past weeks because my grandfather was not doing well. He actually passed away like a week or two ago, or about a week ago. And to our listeners, that's why I was out for a little while, and that's why Allie filled in. That's why Justin filled in. That's why Bill filled in for my time being when I was out. And I just want to say, his favorite movie that he saw in theaters, that I saw in theaters when it was re-released, was The Creature from the Black Lagoon.
You know, I was just thinking about that one.
That's funny how you were just thinking that. That movie, it was 54, but it was so like seeing it on screen and back in theaters was really a different experience. If you know what I mean?
Oh, I'm sure. I would love to go see it, like one of these old horror movies, see how they hold up in like an actual theater.
You just plug for Fathom events. Anyone Fathom events, you can just check those out, and they have a ton of them online. They have re-releases every month. So
that is true.
Yeah,
that is true. But they're more enjoying those for like movies that came out in the 70s right now.
Oh,
like
right, yeah.
The Exorcist, which that is not a movie I want to revisit in theaters.
No, God, no.
I feel like certain type of horror movies, I'd rather watch them at home, or I can put the lights on.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, put the lights
on mute.
On mute. Exactly.
Yeah, but Creature from the Black Lagoon, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
It was very, very unique. You could. It's a product of its time, but it's still.
Oh, definitely.
A classic, though.
I can imagine. Yeah.
A lot of those underwater shots still hold up. When I saw it in theaters, I was like, "What? How did these things hold up still?" It was like because from 1954. It's like it's God knows how, but it still like holds up. So, and then there's the teacher from the. I'm just kidding. We're not going to go there. We're not going to the teacher from the Black Lagoon. But anyways,
Attack of the 50-foot woman. That's another one from this time period, I believe.
Yeah. Which one was it? I'm sorry.
Attack of the 50-foot woman.
Oh, never seen that.
Let's see.
Bet you liked it.
That's a definite B movie right there, man.
Oh, it is.
It's just like this really like super.
The special effects in it are awful. Like,
oh my God. If they ever remade this, I think people would cry.
Of how bad it is.
Probably.
That movie cannot be made today.
It could in some ways.
Why could it be made, Justin?
Or at least not by a man.
Probably not.
And Bill, you know why.
Is it 2 words?
What are the 2 words, Bill?
Me too.
I was thinking more male gaze, but that too.
Oh yeah.
Unless South Park does something like this.
They might. Who knows?
Attack of the 50-foot Kenny.
Oh God.
Or
Give him
Attack
a
of the 50-foot
Kenny
carton. I don't
again.
know.
I mean, come on. When was the last time they killed Kenny? Bastards.
Okay, so that's the 50s. What about the 60s?
That's where you get the birds.
That's when
And-
you get the birds. That's when you get Psycho.
Yes.
Love
But I
Psycho.
feel like at this time,
That's when you start getting some jump scares.
I think because at this time, and because I think they were starting to move away from the horrors and from the monsters and the sci-fi, and more towards, I don't know how to describe it.
Psychological.
I think that's a good way to put it.
More real life horror.
Yeah, like stuff that could actually be true if you really think about it.
Horror that will kind of sit with you.
Exactly.
Like I had a friend, like when it came to the movie Psycho, his dad's friend, he said when he saw it, he ended up getting clear shower curtains.
Oh my God. I could see that. Let's
So
talk
he-
about it for a sec.
See, here's the thing. I got introduced to the parodies of Psycho before Psycho. So
Did you really? Like parodies
So the-
before the film?
my first experience with the shower scene was when Bugs Bunny recreated it.
Looney Tunes back in action.
Yes.
Very underrated in my opinion.
And then I saw High Anxiety.
Yeah.
Great movie, by the way. Great Mel Brooks movie.
Yes.
Alfred Hitchcock approved. No, seriously. Like, if you ever get the chance, look up the story of when Mel Brooks showed Alfred Hitchcock his cut of High Anxiety.
And how Hitchcock liked it.
Oh, he loved it. He said there was no high anxiety about this film. You have yourself a winner.
Wow.
Or something like that.
That's saying something.
Right?
Especially from him too.
That must have been.
It's funny though, because he watched the movie in silence and then stood up and walked out when it was over, and he sent a bottle of wine with that note. That's how he knew.
Wow.
Anyways,
Yeah.
Hitchcock tangent aside, Psycho didn't actually have as big of an impact on me as a lot of other people, but there are 2 jump scares in this movie, and they did get me.
It is the famous do 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 do.
Dun, 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 dun.
When the private investigator gets stabbed and falls down the stairs.
Yes.
Yeah. You want to know my first exposure to this movie?
Sure.
I was actually in Bosie's, and we were told to watch. We were studying Hitchcock's films for whatever reason. I forget specifically why. The reason why, aside from him being a great filmmaker, of his time and whatnot. But I remember us being in our class watching it, and like, mind you, we're in high school and whatnot. We're all trying to like watch the movie and stuff. And it's like during the shower scene, like people are like, "Oh my god!" And people are freaking out and whatnot. But one of the things that always gets me about this movie is the opening sequence of like how like for our viewers, you're gonna be able to see this. If you're listening, just watch the movie. Seriously, the opening of like that one guy following her, like how death, it signifies that death is following her. And let's not forget, Psycho was a movie that taught filmmakers you can kill off a main character.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Mary Crane was the main character for the first half of the movie.
who's it? Janet, what's her name? Janet Lee, whatever.
Janet Lee.
Yeah, that's
Jamie
right.
Lee Curtis's mother.
Yes, Jamie Lee Curtis's mother. That's right.
Yeah. And you know what's really cool about Psycho? Have you guys ever seen the original trailer for it?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
It is.
And it's just
Oh, exactly what you're about to say, Bill. And yes, that trailer was brilliant.
because it just starts off with him going, "Hello, everyone. I'm here to take you a tour of this house." And the music's all light, and then they goes, "But a murder happened here."
Dun, dun, dun.
And then the music gets darker, and then he's like just walking through this house. But what's so brilliant is if you've seen it, he doesn't change his tone of voice.
True.
Mm-hmm.
It's that British monotone.
Exactly.
And then he goes,
Yeah.
I can't tell you what happened in this room. It's just too horrible to describe. And then he goes, "Oh, we're not going in there." And then it shows the shower and the famous do 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 do
And
do.
just such Psycho.
Yeah. What another thing that's brilliant about that trailer, I know that because Bill and I did a top 10 movie trailers back, I think was it over like January of last year, whatever, I forget.
January 2022.
That's right, yeah, way back then. We did a discussion about the top 10, our top 10 movie trailers, and I put that one on there because, just on a quick side note, that trailer for Psycho is 6 minutes long.
Yeah.
It is.
It's a long trailer, like, and it's so when people, we're just on a side note, when people say like, "Oh, well, trailers give away too much," look at that trailer. It didn't give away a lot, but it was unique in its own design. I wish more
Honestly,
houses
it
would look at
gave
that.
away. It actually did give away a lot without giving away a lot.
Yeah, indirectly or whatever. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you only had the trailer to go off of, and you went into the movie, you would be so confused about what's going on because that first half of the movie is nothing like what you just until like you get to the basement hotel, of course, but like you wouldn't know who murdered who.
Yeah.
Like, you know, a murder happened. You don't know how the murder happened. You don't know who was murdered. You don't know who's the murderer. He gives you questions, not
It makes you think.
answers.
Yeah. If you haven't ever seen the trailer for the original 6-minute trailer for Psycho, go on YouTube to check it out. It's a really interesting like perception that we're talking about here. But Alfred Hitchcock, that just shows you even in his trailers he was a genius. Like if you watch the trailer for The Birds, it's the same thing. It's like he's comedic and then he gets very serious. It's very unique. So.
Yeah, but I haven't seen the full movie of Psycho. Don't kill me.
No, you're good. I'm gonna come on Coney Harrison with a knife in the shower. You know, I got you. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but from what I have seen, this really put in the thriller topic, sort of.
Yeah, it's almost like one of the earliest psychological thrillers out there too. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is just Psycho. We have plenty more to discuss too. So, anything else for Psycho, guys? You want to move on to the next thing?
Let's go on to the next thing.
All right, Allie, did you have any other picks for the '60s? You said the birds, or now you don't have anything? Okay.
How
No.
about I've never seen it. Has anyone ever seen Night of the Living Dead?
I was just
Haven't
Just about to
seen
say
it,
that.
but I am very familiar.
I've seen it.
And I'm also familiar how it's in the public domain because someone messed up with the titles or something stupid like that.
What do you mean it's in the public domain? Anyone like we could go out right now and make a movie of it?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Guys, get the cameras. We are making another Night of the Living Dead.
The Night of the Living Dead is in the public domain.
Yeah, for all you filmmakers out there,
It's
get a
on
hold of that.
copyright air.
So I could just go on YouTube and watch it, basically.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know who actually was scared of this movie?
Who?
My dad.
I mean, I wouldn't blame them.
The ending
Zombies are creepy.
it is, and the zombies in this movie are like you believe it too. It's like you want. I've seen the whole movie. I've seen the whole thing. Several years back now, but I got to tell you guys right up front, it is. I don't want to give too much away because you guys haven't seen the whole thing or you haven't seen it, but it's very what's the word? Hard difficult to explain.
Due to an error when titling the original film, it entered the public domain upon release. So upon release, it wasn't even copywritten.
Wow, so that's even more crazy. So that's
It was
incredible.
because, hang on.
Yeah, go ahead. While Justin's looking that up, I just want to say that this movie, like, what's funny is that the main character, like, the zombies go away at like nighttime in the daytime. What's funny is towards the, I don't want to spoil it too much, but like the end of the movie, the survivor, the one guy who survives, like, he ends up like I don't want to say anything, but he doesn't quite make it. At the end of the movie, like, what? It was kind of like a plot twist at the end there, but you guys have to see this movie. It's really good.
Okay, here's what happened.
Yes, Bill. Justin, talk to me.
The original theatrical distributor, the Walter Reed organization,
Yeah.
failed to place a copyright indication on the prints, on the negatives. And at that time, U.S. copyright law held that public dissemination required a copyright notice to maintain the copyright. And Image 10 displayed a notice on the title frames of the film beneath the original title, which was Night of the Flesh Eaters, but not when it was renamed to Night of the Living Dead. Therefore, public domain.
This has been The More You Know with Justin.
The more you know.
Literally. But yeah, no, this is a big, and also the year 1968. This is kind of when horror movies, because like when we get to the 70s in a second, this is when horror movies started to get a little more. I might even say graphic. I would say, like, there's like, it's on the face of these zombies, they're like blood dripping off and whatnot.
Yes.
I would say that they got more graphic because this was post Hays Code.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because wasn't in the 60s is when they
1968.
just threw the Hays Code out and said, okay, we're done with that shit.
Essentially, so this was during the age of New Hollywood, which means less studio driven, big budget films, more small budget, contemporary, character driven, creator driven stories. And that lasted till about 1978.
Wow.
It was old Hollywood, Justin, the welcome to Hollywood.
Essentially.
And there's no business like show business.
Yeah. And that kind of met its end around the time Cleopatra came out. Which anyone who knows about what happened with that movie, even though it was the highest grossing movie of the year, it still flopped. It was that expensive.
Cleopatra was?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Look up how expensive that movie was.
We'll do that really quick. $63, right?
Yeah.
How expensive. So it says $31 million in 1963. That's a lot of money. Wow. Wow. And the budget
I think
was
Batman was made for less than 1989.
that's frightening. That's a lot of money back then.
I know.
Let me just see really quick. What is it in today's money? What's $31 million in 1963 to compare to today? You know what I mean? Do the
Yeah,
math.
seriously.
But that's ridiculous. But yeah.
It has to be hundreds of millions.
Oh, I have no doubt.
So this is when the Hays Code started, just went away.
It was, yeah. And that's when the MPAA was created to start giving ratings to these movies, because without the Hays Code, not all movies were for general audiences anymore.
Right.
Now you have G for general audiences, PG for parental guidance, R for restricted, and X
For the
17
shady guys in
over.
the alleyways.
Yeah.
For Eugene and Rusty from The Simpsons.
Literally.
Or Clockwork's Orange.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, so what should we start the 70s with?
Exorcist.
Yeah. We
And
have-
we might as well. I mean, they got the movie coming out as well. The sequel, the direct sequel.
which I heard sucked.
But it's
Sorry.
making money.
Did it actually suck?
I heard a lot of people hated the new one, and that David Gordon Green should stay far away from horror movies now.
I mean, come on. That one really scared the lights out of you.
Oh, people were throwing up and passing out when they saw it.
This was another movie that apparently caused a lot of women to miscarry, allegedly.
That's frightening.
Right?
Yeah, literally.
And
I
some people have called this movie blasphemous.
Isn't it
But-
very pro-Catholic Church?
Yeah, once you think about it, it makes the Catholic Church look good.
Kidding me? They look like fucking superheroes after this.
oh God.
And by
well,
the way, damn it, where's
yeah.
my crucifix when I need it?
Exactly.
And by the way, the power of Christ compels you.
No.
The power of Christ compels you.
So
Oh,
just
does
to,
it, Bill? Does it really?
The demon will stay in you and kill you.
No, you need a crucifix and some holy water. That'll kill it.
Oh, guess what, Bill? It's not very compelling.
This is
I could be the devil, be immune to that.
Hold on. Ali, you know when I say that? Be gone, Satan!
Nope.
We are not going with that joke, Justin. We are not going with that joke.
I'm so glad you did not finish that, Bill.
I did not. Yes.
I said no. Now I need you to finish it because you
No,
know.
No, do not finish that, Bill. Do
We're
not.
gonna- I am going under my Fifth Amendment right of the United States Constitution. I am going to plead the Fifth Amendment because I feel continuing this joke will incriminate me.
Very much so.
I am exercising my Fifth Amendment constitutional rights. And Justin, as my counsel, will agree with my decision, won't you, Justin?
Yes, he definitely, for his own good, exercises this Fifth Amendment right.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
but no, it's the
So that he keeps all of his bodily organs.
Oh, speaking of this, have any of you guys seen the SNL parody of this?
No.
There was one with Jenna Ortega being the girl,
Oh
and
Lord.
one of the characters, her played by Ego Modem, was very funny. Oh my gosh.
Nice.
It was hilarious. Honestly, this was the better exorcism than this.
Yeah, but anyway, because you know what? It's like when you see the demon. Yeah, and you know what was so horror movies today rely on jump scares and all that. Would you scroll up a little bit?
Sorry.
Down, and stop. That scene right there. You know why it's so terrifying? Because it's just silence.
Yeah.
And sometimes silence speaks more than music or words.
Then sound, yeah.
Yeah. And
There's
you know
a reason why he was used as the jump scare meme back in the late 2000s.
Gotcha.
you know what's even the scariest thing about this movie? Two scary things. Justin, I heard that people actually died on the set of this movie.
Yes, I heard the same.
And
But
And that
Go
the set was indeed cursed.
you know what's even scarier?
What?
This movie was actually based on a true story.
oh gosh.
Begs the question, why create a franchise about it?
Well, here was the thing. There was a boy in, like, I want to say the 50s or 60s who started experimenting with behavior. And this is all in the Vatican. This is all in the Vatican documents. They redacted the boy's name, though. It's called the case of Roland Doe. And what happened was the family thought he was acting strange. Some people say today he may have just had Tourette's or something. Which, if anyone has Tourette's, we're not saying you are disordered. That's what they're saying.
No.
And the family was Lutheran, Protestant, not Catholic. And they took him to their pastor, and they saw that he was acting strange. And they said, yeah, this is kind of above my pay grade. I don't deal with this. This is more of a Catholic thing. You guys might want to go talk. You guys might want to go talk to a priest. And they sent, I think the Vatican sent a priest to exorcise the boy. And they said, like, during the day he was fine, but at night that's when he started acting strange. And apparently, because what they said cured him was that they put a statue of Saint Michael next to his room, next to his bed. And if anyone knows their theology, Saint Michael was the archangel who led the army of angels that threw Satan out of heaven. And they said that's what helped exorcise him. And the Vatican, like I said, they redacted everything. And they said that was actually the basis for The Exorcist. And yeah, and my dad, again, he told me this was the scariest thing he ever saw.
Did you see it in theaters?
No.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
He said this movie is terrifying.
There's a reason why they call it the scariest movie of all time.
Like, I've seen clips of it, and it's scary, but I don't think it would scar me for life.
No, I'm sure there's always some people that would be scarred for life. It's funny, actually. My So we were. I was going to tell some sense before. I have not seen this movie, and I want to see it just to like say I saw it. So, but I'm like, yeah, maybe I should see it in the daylight just to be safe. You know, like literally.
Have every light in your house on.
No, like literally in the sunlight. I will watch it during the day. I can if I watch this at night, I might puke. But anyways,
Just like Linda Blair.
Yeah, literally. But what I was going to say was, we were in the theater watching Oppenheimer earlier this year in 2023, and the trailer for the new Exorcist came out. And mind you, I'm seeing Oppenheimer with my mom, my dad. My mom starts crying in the theater at the trailer for the new Exorcist. Sorry, mom, but like literally, she's like, "Oh my god, I can't watch this right now. I can't watch this." And then the trailer ended. I was like, "Oh my god." I closed my eyes. I was like, I cannot watch this because it just because Oppenheimer was rated R and they were showing like rated R trailers and stuff like that. But I was like, good God. I don't know. I literally want to see it like in the daylight. And then that's saying a lot because I'm not a big horror guy to begin with, but I will see that. So
and yeah, and by the way, you're nursed. Oh, that's literally a line from the movie.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and wow, this has terrified a whole generation.
Like, notice that safe search is on our Google search. It's off. Sorry, excuse me, it's off. But like that's like that actually came up as like, oh yeah, you can like watch. I'm like we're looking at the pictures of it online while we do our stream tonight. And I'm like, it's freaky as hell, man. Oh my god.
Yeah. So, are you guys even more scared knowing that it's now based on a true story?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
I need the resource to prove it.
Okay, would you like me to send you the Vatican documents?
Not now, but
Okay, so I'm just gonna go call the Pope right now and ask him if he could send me the documents. I'm sure he'll do it.
I mean,
I'm sure they're online.
He's a pretty laid back Pope, so maybe.
Hey, Your Holiness, can I please have the documents of the Roland Doe thing? Oh, here you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so from one movie where people allegedly died on set to another, let's go to The Omen.
Oh my god, do not get me started.
Would you say like The Exorcist and The Omen really started the
possessed child freak out, like crave of parents?
Yep.
Literally.
I would say that started with Rosemary's Baby in 1968, but
yeah, we're already in the 70s.
Ah.
It's all right. No, this one too. Like this one was what 76, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it starred Atticus Finch himself. No.
Yeah.
I am right. There you go. I wasn't sure. Gregory Peck. He's a great actor too.
Very good actor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lee Remick was good too. Now, The Omen, they made sequels to it, right? Just like The Exorcist, right?
They made 2 sequels and then they made a reboot.
Okay. But nothing compares to the original, of course. We all know that. So,
yeah.
The Omen. It's mother. Someone had to say it. It's mother.
Look at me, Damien. It's all for you.
Yeah. Yikes.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, this is allegedly another
true story
movie where people died on set, including an incident where a pane of glass beheaded I think a crew member.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Good God.
Do you have any idea where the water filter on here is? Not you, chill. No, all right. I'm gonna have to look it up somehow. I don't know if I have the book for it. I'll have to look.
Sorry. Yeah. I have not seen this movie either. Have you guys seen it?
No.
No? Okay. I would not mind seeing it, like again in the daylight, because like the boy Damien's like possessed, whatever, and so this is when. What's up, Bill? Go ahead.
No, go on. You
what I was gonna say was, if you notice, that movies from the late 60s going into the 70s, not only do they get graphic, they also like adapted with the times as well. Like notice that movies got like progressive, like The Exorcist was at 73. This is 76. Like, and then the horror movies progressively got more and more like, I guess you say more and more horrific and more scary. Like someone brought up in our chat board, because we did the show live. Someone brought up Texas Chainsaw Massacres at one point. Like,
Yes.
I mean, look at that movie. We can talk about that in a second.
That's another very low budget movie. In fact, so low budget, apparently people didn't get paid on.
That's terrible. Yeah.
I found that today from my local horror movie expert.
Okay. So you want to talk about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre for a second?
Yeah. This arguably is the start of the slasher genre.
Yeah, give or take. Yeah. Wasn't this based on true stories, true events?
I think it was framed to be, but it was not.
Okay, all right.
You know those movies that they say that it's based on true events to make it seem more scary, but it's actually not?
Yeah.
I think it's one of those.
Okay. Like it says right here, like the most brutal and bizarre crimes in America, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah. No, this didn't happen. Directed by Toby Hooper. This was shot in a very specific style where it almost feels like an exploitation movie.
Yeah.
Very disturbing. And it introduces us to the character of Leatherface, who has a mask of human flesh.
Ugh. That's just creepy. I have to just admit that right there. That's just freaking creepy.
And apparently, to keep actors on edge, they would have people like have chainsaws running at like all times or something like that.
Oh, to actually be afraid of them on like on the chainsaws on set.
Yeah,
dude, that tells you the time period is, but the 70s was crazy, man.
The 70s were crazy.
They were. I mean, but let alone like with movies like this, forget it. You know. So, I had to bring it up because someone brought it up. But yeah, what do you got, Justin?
But then we have to bring up the one that cemented that the slasher genre was here to stay.
Halloween.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
OG one.
lasted what? Almost 45 years?
45 years this year.
Yep.
Yeah.
5 years.
And Jamie Lee Curtis survived the world this whole time.
John Carpenter's Halloween.
This was a cheap movie.
The budget was what, like $10 million? No,
it was like 300,000.
Was it actually?
Wow.
You would not be able to tell because it looks good.
It does.
The weirdest thing, though, I was just reading it. How does a 6-year-old kill his own sister, and then comes back to kill his sister he never knew?
One second, we'll just pull this up. The budget was between $325,000, and it made $70 million at the box office.
Here's the thing, Allie. We didn't know that Michael and Laurie were related in the first movie. That wasn't revealed to the second one. In fact, that's why Halloween 2018 ignores Halloween 2, is because they retconned that.
And yeah, I'm going to make a very controversial statement about Halloween.
Go ahead, Bill.
It is controversial statement time. I watched this movie. I think it looks dated. Sorry.
I haven't seen it, so I can't say anything. Justin, what do you got?
I mean, at times, yeah, the music, yeah, but
Like the scenes where I'm supposed to be terrified that Michael Myers is trying to kill Laurie, I'm not terrified. I'm like, okay, let's hurry this on. Let's hurry this along.
Maybe
I mean,
I'm
compared to
conceding.
today, yeah, it's tame, but you can say that about a lot of movies back then. Especially the slasher ones.
So am I
Yeah.
becoming a snob or something with this movie, or
No. There are some people who just don't get into Halloween. Catherine is not a huge fan of the movie.
I remember her saying that she thinks it's overrated.
Some people don't like it for whatever reason. You know, I've heard YouTubers and podcasters talk about how, like, you know, how they're like, oh, well, I don't even like the original one. I've heard people say that.
Honestly, I think if anything, it just makes it a little more accessible to people like me who aren't huge into horror movies. So
That's fair. That's fair.
So
You guys want to hear a really scary story?
sure.
I mean, it's October. Why not? And it's almost Halloween. When I was really young, and I don't know if I told my parents this at one point. I was like probably like I want to say 10, maybe 11. I woke up one morning. I was getting ready for school, and I was around my birthday because my birthday's on October 15th. And I said, and it was around Halloween too. And I said, Mom, you know, when I woke up one morning and I told my mom, I said, Mom, what's that movie with the pumpkin on the poster? And it's called Halloween. And she's like, she gave a look on her face. She's like, holy shit, he's bringing that up. Like, and I'm like probably 7 years old or whatever. And she's like, oh my God, is he the Omen? Like, I was like, what? Sorry. No, that is a true story. I just want to testify. So yeah, but Bill, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, Phil. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I wanted to because I think this was the start of franchise horror movies.
100%.
And I wanted to ask you a question, Justin. Have you seen Halloween 3?
I've seen bits.
We've talked about it, right?
You know what? A lot of people, and I've said it before, and I'll make these remarks very quick. The problem is when they got to Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, which includes one of the best movie songs ever. Dun, 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 3 more days till Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. 3 more days till Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
Go Bill.
But here's the thing. I think that movie was deeply treated unfairly.
I mean, yes, but when you have the first and second movie both focusing on one plot, the expectations for the third movie is probably going to be a continuation for said plot. I understand what they were going for, but honestly, they should have made Halloween 2 Season of the Witch.
Yeah, because he wanted to make it an anthology series and have a new Halloween themed story come out every year. But yeah, I agree with you. If you wanted to do that, you could have made Halloween 3 Halloween 2.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you know, some people will say if you watch it as like a standalone movie, it's actually not bad. But yeah, but no, I think this was what really started the slasher franchise. And okay, well, what came first, Justin? Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street?
Friday the 13th.
Now that we're going into the 80s.
Do we have any more?
There's more. I feel like I don't know if you consider Jaws a horror.
Oh
movie.
God, yeah, we didn't even touch on Jaws.
Oh yeah, I was about to ask that.
We'll talk about that really quick.
Because I have to say it because you know who's watching and he's gonna rip me apart.
Dad, we love you.
Love you, Mr. Mahoney. But he said, remember when this didn't win the summer bracket, he let me have it. He said, this movie shut down a whole recreational activity.
It shut down swimming, guys.
People didn't go swimming when they watched this.
Like the movie literally stopped swimming.
Watch this. And that's terrible. Swimming is a good exercise.
Swimming is a good exercise.
Exercise,
Right.
folks. It's good for you.
Sure is.
But anyway,
We did a Jaws movie commentary. If you guys want
yes,
to check
we
it out
did.
on our YouTube channel, by the way, just letting you guys know.
Mhm.
And but no, but you know what? This actually answers a really good question though. What's scarier, what you see or what you hear?
Mm.
I can't answer that. I can't answer that, but I would say actually it's both.
Because when you hear the dum 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 dum.
For Austinite on D minor, and every sailor knows it means death.
So
Oh no.
almost all of these movies that we saw tonight, I have not. Most of the movies we've talked about tonight, I have not seen. But
That's okay.
this movie I've seen probably a dozen times, and I had the fortunate opportunity to see this movie re-released in theaters last year.
Whoa.
And holy goddamn shit balls does it hold up.
Especially in theaters, I can only imagine.
When I say that I was on the edge of my seat during the entire second half, I mean it. Like it's even when I've seen it, as I said, a dozen times, the suspense is real. It's palpable. And you're just waiting for that shark to arrive. Because it is what you don't see that's scary.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The unknown.
And this was Spielberg's first blockbuster of many.
Yep. Absolutely.
It's one of my favorite movies. Just period.
A good one. Seriously, it's a good one. Dun, dun.
But yeah, but you know what, Justin? That answers the question. What's scarier, what you see or what you hear?
I think what you hear is more scary, but I think what you don't see mixed with silence and what you don't hear is even scarier. If that makes sense.
A little bit.
Yeah, I could see that. Was there any other movies in the 70s that we can't think
Carrie
of?
as well.
What's that?
We got Carrie's.
Forgot.
Carrie,
You know,
Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead. That's another one.
how do you forget Rocky Horror?
Oh,
Ah,
It's the
Well,
cult classic.
I wouldn't really consider it
that's
horror.
more spooky.
But remember, Justin, it's just a jump to the left.
Mhm.
I mean, we also didn't talk about Young Frankenstein.
Oh yes.
it's
Mel
more of a
Brooks is
comedy
something.
though. It's hard, but it's more of a comedy though now.
Exactly. So
Or that's like saying like Monty Python. You know, there was scary elements to it, but at the same time, it was hysterical. So, you know, so are we ready to go to the 80s?
Yep.
I'm always ready to go to the 80s.
Yeah.
Wait, are we going to Nightmare on Elm Street? Are we gonna find
Not
out?
yet. Not yet.
Friday the 13th.
Friday
Friday-
the 13th came first.
In
1980.
1980, exactly.
His name was Jason. And today's his
Jason
birthday.
Voorhees?
I just want to
Actually, this one, it's Mrs. Voorhees.
let you guys know I've actually been. So where they filmed the original movie of Friday the 13th, the very first one from 1980.
Camp Crystal Lake.
It's a Boy Scout camp in New Jersey, and I went there when I was younger. And when we were doing the swim test that week, we're like, Jesus God, Jesus God. It was
Oh,
so funny.
speaking of Friday the 13th, happy Friday the 13th in 2 days.
Yes.
Oh my God, you're right.
Bam, 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 bam.
And it's in October.
Ooh.
And Taylor Swift's Eras Tour comes to theaters. So I had to just say that anyways, but besides the point though.
Oh, we know what's dominating the box office this weekend.
Literally.
JT is a closet Swiftie.
Shut up, I know. But Friday the 13th with Jason. What do we got?
Actually, the first one's not with Jason.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So
Stone
what is
Cold-
it?
what
The
is it?
first one was with Mrs. Voorhees, Jason's mother.
Oh, mother.
Because hell
Mother.
hath no fury like a mother's scorn.
And what's his face? Kevin Bacon was in this too. How could we forget that?
The
Yes,
great
Kevin.
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon. Did he die?
Yep,
No, he's alive. Oh no, in the movie.
Oh god, that's brutal.
violently.
That's disgusting. I hate showing that on camera. I'm sorry, but we'll just show the poster instead. And be shot
In
at with
my
arrows.
opinion, the 80s is probably the best decade for horror movies in terms of quantity and quality.
Agreed.
I can see that.
I think the 70s has the more prestige movies, but I think the 80s had the more
Like
fun.
the more, I would say the 80s was the more popcorn type movies.
Yeah.
Popcorn.
This-
harmonies.
The 80s was the return to the studio driven film. And the studios found out that violent horror movies sell tickets.
Yeah,
So
true.
we got franchises like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street,
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
Got Child's Play as well.
the
Okay,
Halloween franchise still going.
Chucky.
Child's Play, which I'm going to
Child's
say,
Play.
I watched Child's Play. It's stupid.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
nice
now it is.
for
Yes.
Hanukkah.
Can I just
Christmas.
say something though? That doll, when it was all mutilated and mangled up in Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky, that doll scared the shit out of me
You guys know what that episode.
when I was young.
You guys know what Child's Play was based on, right?
What?
It was based off a Twilight Zone episode of with Talking Tina. You know that, right? It was based off that.
I didn't know that.
I mean, it wasn't My Buddy
Gotcha.
or Teddy Ruxpin.
No, it was. I remember
There's
that.
gonna be a horror movie one day about Teddy Ruxpin, just like they have one now.
Oh, just watch the Nostalgia Critic episode.
Literally. No, there was a guy. The writers of Chucky or Child's Play were talking about like how it's a doll, and they were referring a lot to the episode of Twilight Zone where it's like, my name's Talking Tina, and you better be nice to me. And it's like, my name's Talking Tina, I'm gonna kill you. Like it's frightening to think about a doll trying to kill you.
Yeah.
But it was based off that episode, so. And I've seen that episode at night with the lights off, and it is
Nice.
frightening. I have the audio drama. I have the audio drama of it, audio drama of it too, and I fall asleep to it sometimes. Which, besides the point though. Anyways.
Yeah, that's strange.
Sorry, everyone. We're circling back there. Friday the 13th. What do we got? Anything else for it or no?
This one I'm gonna try and lightning round because the 80s is a lot.
Yeah. Oh, wait, how can we? This is what 1980.
Yeah.
The very next
Friday
year.
the 13th was 1980.
Evil Dead
1984 you had Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, we'll try and go by year for a sec, but I want to say Evil Dead from 1981.
Yep. Evil Dead 1981. Evil Dead 2 1987, I believe.
And then Army of Darkness. That's more of a comedy, but still. This movie, I listen. I I actually really like this movie. It was, and let's not forget Sam Raimi, the director of Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. He started with Evil Dead. How can we forget that?
Oh, I think that just adds more character to the Spider-Man movies.
Well, and with Bruce Campbell, mind you. But like, I have to just say this. This movie was rated NC-17. You know that, right?
Rated X. Yeah.
Yeah, it was above R. For the gore, there is so much blood in this movie. I have Blu-ray.
I don't think it was just the gore.
What else was it? What do you think?
There's a certain scene in the first Evil Dead that
Yeah.
something happens to a woman.
Oh,
tree.
that with the trees like
Yeah.
doing stuff to her that were like possessed.
Yeah, let's move past that.
Sorry, I'm not going to
That is
spoil anything.
terrifying.
That is terrifying. With the trees doing that, of course. Damn you, trees. But no, this is like this movie was like a fright fest, and also the Ash, the promotional posters and stuff like of Ash with the chainsaw and stuff like that.
Yep.
Ash, you know, people towards the end of the movie, he was like, obviously spoilers. He was the last one standing, but at the same time, you forget that the marketing campaign for this movie was like, oh yeah, whatever. He the trailers made it look like he was like he made it look like he was like the guy who was gonna be dead first, but no.
Right.
And then throughout the movie, you're like, oh my god, he's actually not.
Yeah.
He's the hero. Yeah, he's the at the end of the day. Also, fun fact: they actually filmed this in a real life abandoned cabin.
Oh, I believe it.
They did, and they filmed it in 79. In 79, though.
They only had like what, $10,000?
The budget was literally like $100,000.
Yeah, it was micro.
It was super like you could tell like the makeup on like some of these like on these like the makeup on these characters and stuff like that, like it's all like fake and stuff like that. But it's crazy. So it's still a freak show.
And they didn't have much more for Evil Dead 2.
No,
Oh,
they
yeah.
didn't.
They took it in a comedic path, but it's like it's like
Yeah, but not by that much.
no. I mean, Army of Darkness is hysterical, but this is like
Yeah, but
this is.
I watched Evil Dead 2 for the first time last year, and it's still freaky.
What, this one?
Funny, but freaky.
This one.
Evil Dead 2.
Oh, Evil Dead 2 is great though. Yeah, with the chainsaw hand. He cuts off his own hand.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed
And then
that.
replaced it with a chainsaw. Yeah.
He's like, let me cut off my hand and make it a chainsaw hand because his hand got possessed. But Evil Dead, this might be my favorite horror movie.
You see, that's a character that needs to be in the Mortal Kombat movie, a game.
What, Ash?
Oh my god, yes.
Why have they not thought of that? Call quick. Well, Mortal Kombat. Call Justin. You can call Justin on our hotline at 100 got Bill.
1-800 got Bill.
Get him that money, baby. No, but Evil Dead. I mean, we're going by years now. Evil Dead, though, freaking fright fest.
Yeah.
Of a movie. Like, actually, did you see the most recent one?
No.
Okay, I didn't either. Because that one took place in a city setting, and I'm like, whoa.
Which is interesting.
Very.
But, decidedly less comedic.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the remake was this remake of this one was not like the 2013 remake. What was it?
The one by Fede Alvarez, yeah.
Was that good at all? Did you see the one?
I heard it was actually underrated.
Really? Okay, that's good to know. So,
Like, I heard the reviews for it at first were great, but I heard it gained a pretty strong cult following.
I'm sure this first one has a cult following too. So, The Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Classic. But if you guys haven't seen Evil Dead, watch it. It is so twisted and so crazy. You can tell it's fake, but it's like there are some scenes in it where you're like, oh, it's a gore fest of just blood everywhere. See, you guys keep talking about jump scares. For me, I'm okay with blood. Like, I'm okay with like stuff like this, which is weird, but jump scares I can't really do.
Yeah, same. I'm the same way.
Okay. So
I
we're on
can
the
do-
same page then.
I can do gore to an extent,
Yeah.
but
Like heads blowing up and stuff like that, like with horror
Yeah.
stuff.
yeah, that's fun.
That's not bad. But like a jump scare of like a twisted nun or whatever from The Conjuring, forget it.
Yeah.
That's frightening, man. 82. Was there anything 82?
Nightmare on Elm Street, right?
No, that was
Oh,
84.
that was 84.
Was there anything else?
Hmm.
Poltergeist?
Poltergeist, I think, was 84 as well.
No, it was
Oh, okay.
82.
Oh, it was 82? Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about Poltergeist.
was.
Produced by Steven Spielberg, allegedly shadow directed by Steven Spielberg, even though Toby Hooper directed Poltergeist. There were rumors that Spielberg kind of stepped in and directed a lot of scenes.
Yeah, that movie, I remember one time I fell asleep during it.
Yeah.
And I remember turning the TV off and I had this dream that the TV turned back on. I'm thinking, oh my God, is my house possessed?
I mean, that's a creepy movie as well. Like, guy's face melting off, little girl being pulled into the TV, freaking clown, and let's not forget that skeleton that lady was wrapped around in that puddle, which, by the way, was real.
Real puddle?
No, real skeleton.
Oh God, that's frightening.
Yeah. Like, they went out of their way to make it as authentic as possible. And that's another one of those productions that was seemingly cursed because a lot of the actors passed away under unusual circumstances after the movie came out.
Yeah, didn't like the girl die like extremely young?
Yep.
That's frightening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I haven't seen a lot of these movies. I want to apologize to my friends and to our viewers.
I haven't seen a lot of them either. It's okay.
I mean, I haven't either. I just thought it would be interesting to kind of have a bit of a retrospective on the evolution of horror movies and sort of like what decades sort of started what and what was popular in what decades. And it's just interesting to see the generational changes.
And you know
Oh,
what's
yeah, absolutely.
weird? The Poltergeist.
Mm-hmm.
This was a supernatural movie when the 80s was more slasher movies.
Yes.
True.
So the 80s had two big horror genres going on for it. One was the slasher genre, and two was the sci-fi horror revival.
Alien.
Especially with remakes from the 50s. So remember those movies I mentioned in the 50s? The Fly, Think from Outer Space, The Blob.
They got
Those
remake
all
in the
got
80s.
remade in the 80s.
Oh, they did. Okay.
The Fly was done by David Cronenberg, the master of body horror.
Mhm.
John Carpenter did The Thing.
Oh, that came out the year before in 82. That was a good one too.
And did he also do The Blob? I can't remember.
John Carpenter?
Who did The Blob in the 80s?
88. Let's see. I don't know. Who directed it?
Yeah.
Chuck Russell.
Chuck Russell. Okay.
There you
Chuck
go.
Russell.
Don't know who he is. Anyways. But yeah, you start seeing movies that came out in the 50s being remade in the 80s where visual effects have gotten way better.
Significantly better.
Significantly better. So good that they would hold up today.
Yeah, literally.
The Fly is still considered one of the most grotesque horror movies ever made.
Right.
And speaking of David Cronenberg, he also had movies like Scanners. He had a few horror movies in the 70s and 80s, but I think the 80s is where he really had his stride. And fun fact, The Fly, produced by Mel Brooks.
Really?
Really?
Yep. Mel Brooks produced 2 movies under his production company, Brooks Films.
Interesting.
It was The Fly and David Lynch's Elephant Man.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Real side splitters, huh?
Literally.
That is weird.
That's weird. Do we want to? So, are we going with Poltergeist? What do we want to go to next?
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
Yeah, we gotta talk about Nightmare on Elm
3,
Street.
4, you better lock your door. 5, 6, I don't know that part. 7, 8, you better stay awake. 9, 10, you'll never sleep again.
Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger. Robert
Hey.
Englund.
I have not seen this movie.
I actually heard Robert Englund's a pretty cool guy.
Is he?
Yeah, I've heard similar. Johnny Depp's
Some woman who he went to high school with, I guess, reached out to him because she told her students that she went to high school with him, and he actually made a video of him doing the Freddy Krueger voice.
Ha!
That is so cool.
And he did Freddy Krueger for the longest time too.
Yeah. He's like in his late 70s now, I think.
Yeah, like he wouldn't be able to do it now, but like he was Freddy till like 2003.
If they ever reboot,
Well, they tried that. It
didn't work.
didn't work. Was a shame because the guy they got for Freddy wasn't a bad choice. It just wasn't directed well.
Bummer.
They got Jackie Earle Haley to be Freddy in the remake. He played Rorschach in Watchmen.
Okay.
And they didn't make him funny. Which, I'm sorry, that's part of the character. Is he's kind of goofy. He's kind of cheesy.
Like wisecracking and
Yeah.
tell him that Freddy sent you.
Like, I've watched some of the kills on YouTube. Some are really fucking scary, but some of them are not. Some of them are just funny.
Or Johnny Depp in the tub. No, the guy in the tub was Johnny Depp.
Pirates of the Caribbean, anyone?
Oh, no, wait. No, he was in the bed, not the tub. No.
Bad.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. When does my apology tour start, Justin?
Well, let's see here. You suggested that Johnny Depp was in the tub with somebody, so We should also bring up the Terminator.
Is that
That is a good.
horror movie?
The first one is.
Okay.
It's I would call it. I do not call the first one sci-fi horror. I call it horror sci-fi. There's a
Yeah.
reason for that.
The sci-fi elements are kind of secondary in this.
Yeah, because think about it. This machine, Terminator, is sent back in time to kill you, and you
To kill
cannot.
an innocent woman.
Yeah, it's not. It cannot be stopped.
And the only one who might be able to save you, you think it's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sorry, when it's just him as the skeleton, he's fucking creepy.
Absolutely. Did I ever tell you I met Michael Biehn?
Oh, did you?
He was at New York Comic Con at one point, and I got his autograph. He's a really nice guy. What
Was he
it?
breathing?
Was he what?
Was he breathing? He seems to die a lot.
He tends to die. No, he was a good. He was good. He was quiet. Truthfully, he was really quiet. For whatever reason, no, he was good though. The Terminator.
Dominator.
Yep.
Because think about it, this machine is sent back in time to kill you, and it cannot be stopped.
It can't be bargained with.
No.
Hey, how much does this cost? $20. Okay, I'll give you 17. I said $20.
Yeah. Anything else for the Terminator?
Oh, I've seen it.
I've seen it too. We did a commentary of it.
We did a movie commentary on it. Check it out on our YouTube channel. I feel like there's another one in the 80s I can't think of. Like 82, 84, 85. Another horror movie. That's not a sequel like
They Live.
They Live. Okay.
Are we going through every single horror movie ever made?
No, we don't have to.
We've
Well,
been
that's
doing
why I
this
kind of
almost-
want to do a lightning round on the 80s and 90s because
There's a lot.
it's getting late.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Then
So,
let's
anything else in the 80s, or should we just go right to the 90s?
I say we jump to the 90s.
Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, Silence of the Lambs, I guess you can consider it a horror movie. I think it's a
Tell
little
me,
more
please.
drama suspense.
Do the lambs stop screaming?
This guy eats skin.
I had his liver with a side of fava beans and a nice Chianti.
This movie's freaky as hell.
JT, do the lambs stop screaming?
No.
So, with the 90s, I feel like we got a little more on the generic side with our movies.
Yeah.
With our horror movies. A lot of sequels. A lot of
Like Alien 3 was like what, 92?
yeah, around then.
4? I forgot something like that. Well, Alien, we forgot about that too. That was a great movie too, but
Yeah, that was 90. That was 77.
it was 79.
79. I'm sorry.
No, that's right. You're good. Fun fact.
And I didn't include Predator in the 80s. I consider that more of an action movie.
Yeah, that's an action movie. Absolutely. Just like Aliens is an action movie. Alien is a horror movie.
Yeah.
Ripley. But yeah, there's another one too.
But there were a lot of sequels. Freddy's Dead, Final Nightmare, Wes Craven's New Nightmare, Halloween H2O, Halloween Resurrection.
a lot of sequels.
And Wes
A few
Craven
more Friday the 13th movies.
and Wes Craven's new horror. Justin?
Scream.
Really? What's your favorite scary movie?
96.
Yep.
Yep.
Didn't they just have another one that just came out?
Yep.
Was it good?
I heard it was actually pretty decent.
That's good.
I must say, I actually really like this movie.
Okay.
And I think it is kind of cheesy once you think about it. Am I right, Justin?
I mean, yeah, it's a movie that it's a pastiche of the slasher genre.
And it's
But
kind of
it's-
a way a parody of it once you think about it.
Oh, it's very much a satire of the slasher genre, but it works well within the genre as well. That's what makes it work.
Because remember the rules of a horror movie: no alcohol or sex. Don't ever say you'll be back.
Yep.
Because guess what?
You won't be right back.
Hey, do you want another beer? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. I'll be
I'll
right
be
back.
back. And he goes, is this the part where you kill me? Can I be the innocent girl? Going, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. Please don't. And yeah, Scream. I really like this. I actually, Justin, is it weird to say I actually had fun watching this movie?
Yeah.
It's weird to say that, or
No, it's not weird.
I actually had a good time with this movie because I stayed away from this movie for a long time.
Well, I used to be scared of the ghost face mask.
Oh, me too. And then I remember I was home one week. I had a bad cold, and I'm like, hey, you know what? Let me watch this. It was like near Halloween.
Yeah.
And then right after that, you know what I watched?
Scream.
Scream 2.
Huh?
Which I actually don't think is that bad. I don't know what you think, Justin.
I remember only watching like the first 20 minutes of it and being like, I'm bored or I was tired. I can't remember.
But I remember like Scream 1, when they reveal who the killer was, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Scream 2, it even makes sense. By Scream 3, okay, this does not make sense anymore.
Well, yeah, a lot of people consider Scream 3 to be the weakest of the trilogy.
This is literally not making any more sense. Scream 1 and 2, it makes sense. Scream 3, this doesn't make sense anymore. It's just that, okay, why are you going to say, you didn't say hi to me that one time 10 years ago. Okay, hi. Okay, all's forgiven. Why are you trying to kill me now? You ate the last cookie. It just basically became that.
Got it.
Like, now, should we give away the ending for Scream, or should we not spoil it for the good people who haven't seen it yet?
Let them see it. Let them see it.
Yeah, but the first two, the ending actually makes sense. Third one, it's just random third, and I have not seen the fourth or the fifth one.
Or the sixth one.
Or the sixth one. They're just going to come up with some weird random thing. Oh. Did I just unconsciously rant?
Yep.
Oh, that.
You're good, bud.
Okay, so anything else in the 90s at the Blair Witch Project?
Yeah, there was the Blair Witch Project. That's what kind of started in this decade, was the found footage genre. Well, technically Cannibal Holocaust in the 80s did too, but this really popularized it. And you also had like gothic horror movies like The Craft. And you had other horror movies like I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Okay, what did I do last summer?
Mm.
You just said you know what I did last summer.
Yeah, but it's like the Royal Eye.
Mm.
Towards the late 90s, a lot of like horror movies started to get really like cheesy, you know what I mean?
Very much so.
Yeah,
I
by the
think
time we
that's
got
the decade that Anaconda came out, Deep Blue Sea came out. You know, at that point, they just stopped being scary.
and then by the 2000s, they were just making fun of them.
Literally, scary movie. Anybody?
They just started making fun of horror movies.
I hate modern parody movies. I'm letting you know right now. I hate
Yeah,
them so much.
I do too. With that said, there were some decent horror movies that did come out in the 2000s. I think The Descent came out around that time. The early 2000s, particularly, were very popular for Japanese horror remakes, such as The Ring, The Grudge.
I saw this movie.
You know, you had Shyamalan's Signs.
Not the actual like stop sign, but Signs. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Is it safe to say can we talk about the X-Files for a second?
Sure.
Like the movies. The movies, I mean, the 1998 movie was, I mean, I haven't seen it, but it was like pretty horrific stuff too, you know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, X-Files I never got into, I'll be honest.
I don't
I
really
love-
watch it either.
I love that show so much. You have no idea. So,
It's just like one of those things like Buffy that I never got into.
yeah, I mean, it's got a cult following. It's got a big following, but like, it's on Hulu, I believe, because Disney bought Fox, and you can like watch it.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But no, is it Gillian or Gillian Anderson? I forget. I don't know how to say her name, but anyways, Duchovny and Anderson, the two of them are like, they're incredible in these roles. They tried bringing it back for a little while on TV.
Mm.
It didn't quite. The second time around, it didn't work out as much as I thought it would. But the TV show itself, if you watch the X-Files, and I know we were talking about movies, you want to talk about hard, like literally scary television in the 90s, the X-Files was it. I mean, it's if you're looking for a show to binge watch, X-Files. Heavily based on like 50s and 60s sci-fi and horror, like Twilight Zone or like like other like horror, like it's about aliens, but also it also has like monsters in it. Like hold on, it's like the X-Files monsters. Here's one of them. They did this on TV. For those of you who are listening to us, just Google X-Files monsters, and you're gonna have nightmares for the rest of the week. So it's freaky as hell, and they did this on TV, man. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
Budget wise, they had the budget for it. Fox was like, let's just do it. But this is like some scary stuff. This one was the bug one was ridiculous. This guy turns into like a bug. He
I
tries
have
to
never
kill Mulder.
watched the X-Files, so
I
Yeah.
had to touch on it for a second. It's pretty intense stuff, but yeah. X-Files is a great show. My God, such a great universe as well. Big universe. Anyways, I'm going off on my geek tangent. Anyways,
No worries.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
with
So
the
X-Files.
2000s, most of what I mentioned is what we've gotten. We had
parodies.
we had the parodies. We had the Japanese horror remakes, which were decent. We had the M. Night Shyamalan's Signs and whatever horror projects he was trying to come up with.
Do we count Godzilla as a horror movie?
No, really.
God, no.
No. Okay, never mind.
At least not the 1998 one.
No, God, no. We did a movie commentary on that too.
Why?
I don't have
Hey,
to-
Justin. That's a lot of fish.
I bet it was.
I wasn't there for that, so nope. I know nothing.
But besides that, it was a lot of bad remakes, like Amityville Horror, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, just really bad horror movies came out in the 2000s.
Yeah, they weren't all. They weren't the best.
Like low effort, low budget,
Saw, you know what I mean?
jump scare fest. Oh, and the Saw movie.
Yes, the Saw. Yeah, Saw
introduced us to the
27 just
torture
came out.
porn genre.
What was that?
The Saw movies introduced us to the torture porn genre.
I feel like it's a movie I don't want to sit through.
No.
Neither do I.
Oh, also we have movies such as Funny Games and what was it called? Serbian film? Don't Google Serbian film. Do not Google
No,
Serbian film.
JT, do not.
What did you say?
Do not Google Serbian film.
All right, well,
It's Justin. How would you describe it? No.
Exploitation.
oh, sorry, I won't. Don't worry.
Nope.
I'm putting the corner.
Go to your room. No, I'm just kidding.
Go to your room, he says.
How dare you even think that? It's
What's another one? There's a lot of remakes of one from the 70s, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre was remade.
Oh, that got remade so many times, it's not even funny.
Nightmare on Elm Street, Night of the Living Dead.
Alien versus Predator,
That's another one too, yeah.
Freddy versus Jason.
Versus Ash. I wish that would happen. A lot of people
Well,
want the
happened in
second one.
comics.
A lot of people want Freddy versus Jason versus Ash for whatever reason.
Well, it happened in the comics, that's why.
There you go. So, what else was there? We did Alien. We didn't even touch on Alien, but Alien's another one too.
Yeah.
The xenomorphs coming out of people's chests.
You had yeah. Slim Pickens for 2000s. Oh, Rob Zombie's filmography in general.
Yeah,
Then
we
you
touched on a
had-
lot tonight.
Yeah, 2010s. Let's breeze through. Nothing.
Literally nothing.
Not true. You had
No.
Hereditary. You had Midsommar.
Yeah, The Conjuring.
You had The Conjuring.
That was pretty successful. if I'm not
Insidious.
mistaken.
You had Sinister.
The Purge.
The Purge.
Oh my god, that movie was so damn stupid.
Yeah, I wouldn't really call it a horror movie. The only reason why it's a horror movie is because it had jump scares and it was made by Blumhouse. In reality, it would be more of an action thriller.
Let us purge. Let us purge.
Or
Wasn't
at
the
least the sequels be more action thrillers.
Release the beast. Purge. Purge.
wasn't the
Okay,
Conjuring
well.
like, guys? Wasn't the Conjuring like they're setting up other stuff in that universe, like Annabelle or like
Yeah.
the Nun,
Yeah.
something like that?
Yeah.
Other horror movies in that like Conjuring spin
The
off.
Nun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the 2010s, you actually had some interesting prestige horror movies coming up every here and there. The 2010s was the rise of the A24 weird horror movie.
Okay.
Movies like Tusk
Never saw
or
it.
Not the Fleetwood Mac album.
no, not the Fleetwood Mac album. This was directed by Kevin Smith,
Oh yeah.
and it's a horror comedy.
Why does the guy look like the guy from the Red Hot Chili Peppers?
It's Justin Long.
Oh, all right. It looked like Anthony Kiedis.
It does. I know it does.
I mean, look at this picture. Like, oh my god, it's Anthony Kiedis from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. It's like, what? He's starting a movie. No, I'm kidding. Anything else, guys?
No, I think we're good. Justin, anything else?
I mean, we had the Halloween 2018 reboot.
Oh yeah, the reboot of the franchise.
Started out strong, fizzled out pretty badly.
Yeah, that one was. I like I said, I haven't seen them, but that. I mean, unfortunately, the last one was not that good, right?
The last one sucked. It barely had Michael in it at all. They tried to shift the focus on a different killer for the first 2/3, and then shift to Michael for the last third.
Yeah.
And then you had a lot of Blumhouse movies. I mean, a lot of Blumhouse movies. You know, Truth or Dare, Fantasy Island,
Mm-hmm.
Upgrade. Upgrade was actually really good.
Okay,
Sorry, I'm not contributing much here. It's just
you're good, bud.
way too much.
Yeah. I know it's a surprisingly good number of horror movies.
You're not even really a big horror guy yourself.
I'm not. I just know about them. So I know to stay away from them.
Well, because your girlfriend is a bit of a horror movie aficionado.
Oh, yes. And she took me to see one of the scariest goddamn movies of my life last year.
Smile.
Thanks, hon.
You weren't smiling after that, weren't you?
Oh, I almost took out her head when a jump scare scared the shit out of me. And I think I almost headbutted her with my head because I was cowering under her arm.
Yeah. So
Sorry, babe.
anything else, or in the words of Imagine Dragons, there's nothing else to say?
I'm just tired now.
Yeah, me neither. It's like we've been doing this for 2 hours. Oh, wait, that's what.
We have been doing it for 2 hours.
We have been doing this for 2 hours.
Normally we're at like the hour and 55-minute mark. We actually passed 2 hours tonight, guys.
Yeah.
Bravo. Give yourself a pat on the back. So
We're so brilliant. But, you know, before we wrap up, which decade do you think was the best for horror movies?
So let's talk
I
about
still
that.
say it's the 80s.
Honestly, I would make the argument for the 70s, but I agree with Justin and I want to say the 80s as well.
I'm going to say the 70s because that, or even like the 60s, because that built up atmosphere,
That's a fair point.
which is more terrifying than.
I see your point. I just feel like there was more consistency and a bigger turnout of movies in the 80s.
I tend to agree with that.
Yeah, but you know, but
We
like,
didn't even touch on The Shining,
Oh my god, we forgot about that one.
right?
I was actually at the Stanley Hotel in 2019. The hotel that inspired the whole thing. So it's crazy.
And remember, folks, because of The Shining, Stanley Kubrick planned the moon landing.
I guess so.
Because the number of the hotel where it took place was the number of the shuttle. So Stanley Kubrick staged the moon landing.
Good for you, Stanley. Anything else, guys?
I think I'm good. And what about you?
I'm all set. Justin, you all set?
I'm all set.
All right. Well, listen, everyone, we want to thank you all for watching, listening, however you enjoyed us tonight. Thanks so much for tuning in for a 2-hour-long broadcast of us just talking about horror movies. Ultimately, we say that the best decade for horror movies is the 80s. But ultimately, it's what you guys have to say out there. Sound off in the comment section of this video. If you listen to us tonight on our podcast format, feel free to DM us or message us however you want to our social media pages, simply at the Super Review Show. I want to thank the two gentlemen who do this podcast with me all the time. Justin and Bill, you guys are incredible. Thank you so much as always. Yeah, if you like what you've seen here, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We do this live every Wednesday night for the foreseeable future, forever and ever, until the end of time. Yeah, we do this live every Wednesday night, so check us out there on our YouTube channel. But yeah, Bill,
Yes.
you have something going on.
Sports Insanity Network. Check out Sports Insanity Podcast. And don't forget to check out 7 o'clock tomorrow night, Thursday Night Gridiron, when, all the fun stuff. It's football season. It's baseball playoffs.
Yep. And Philadelphia took the lead over Atlanta tonight, by the way.
I know.
That's crazy because Atlanta was killing it this year.
I know. Oh, that's scary. Let's end this because this will turn into a 6-hour conversation.
Yes, it will. Justin, I want to thank Justin for joining us as well. His insight, his knowledge is incredible, unparalleled, and always welcome here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But for all of us here at the Super Show, guys, stay safe,